Just wanted to show what's going on here really quick. So I made this piece of cable. It's actually a 100-foot brand new roll. This is Wilson. It's called Low Loss. It's a pretty good cable for anyone that knows about it. Maybe you don't know about it. Really good quality stuff for a really good price, actually. A little less per foot. I think I paid like less than $1 a foot, like 77 cents a foot, which is outstanding for low loss cable. And it's not like poor quality stuff. I'm not saying that maybe other ones aren't good either, but you know, if we can save a little money here and there, I think everybody likes to do that. So what I did, these are Mix 31. I bought a kit from DX Engineering. I actually got 40 of these, so I used 10. I'm going to use 10 for each antenna, and it comes with the heat shrink, which if I could have done this all over again, I would have put some powder on these ferrites. There's 10 of them here. That way this heat shrink would slip on just a little easier across, because it's very snug as you pull it across here. Obviously when you heat shrink it, it heat shrinks down. I will probably put like a small piece of I don't know what the word I'm looking for, like a zip tie or something right here. Although I think I can get this heat shrink to stick a little bit better to this cable with like a lighter torch or something, because I'm using a heat gun. I was using a heat gun. Although these, once you get this on here, I could hold the thing, like if this was the strand of beads, I could hold it like this and shake it and they wouldn't fall out. So like I say, the powder across these might actually help a little bit to give it a little more like flexibility in there, because once they're in there, they're kind of in there. The only way to get them out probably be to strip this with his X-Acto knife or something to rip them out. But they are not clip-on, they're slide-on. So, you know, really nice quality Mix 31s for, this is a common mode current deterrent here. They actually say you can use all 40 on one piece of cable. I'm thinking, wow, you must have some serious issues if you wanted to use 40 of them. But I think 10 is good. The research I've done, a lot of guys say 7 is fine. I went with 10 because I'm going to use 4 different antennas. I'm going to prep my cable for each antenna with 10. That way I use them all. And these are going to go outside. This is not for the inside. This is close to the feed point. So I use these crimp-on connectors from DX Engineering. Right here, these are the part number. I also use these heat shrink pieces for the crimp connector as well. This is a gripper for the cable. This is a cutting tool to prep the cable for the crimp-on connector. These are all DX Engineering, so good company. They make some cool stuff for the hobby, for ham radio, CB radio, GMRS, whatever you want to do, they got something for it. And this is not a paid endorsement by them. This is me just saying, as a customer, I like what they do. The products they offer work well, and they work good for our hobby. So obviously I didn't get the cable from them, although I am using some of their cable on my antennas right now. So the cable they make is good quality. I was able to get a good deal on this through my business account. I don't sell this cable or anything like that, but I do have some business connections where I can get some good deals on cable, so that's what I did. And as far as that goes, this is all prepped and ready to go. I hooked it up to this load here, 50 ohm dummy load here, and the rest of the cable is all coiled up here, brand new still. So let's switch on this analyzer here and just take a quick peek. It's saying error because of that. So we're on 6 meter right now and we're looking really good. So, you know, this has 2 sides. I think it's like 200 to 500 on this side. It has a female type N on that side. So obviously I'm using an adapter because this still has an N on this side. These come with N connectors. That's why I prepped it and put the other connector on, because this is going to be used with a omnidirectional antenna on top of the tower. So that antenna has a female feed point for PL259. So N connector wouldn't do me no good up there. Otherwise I have to use an adapter, and I didn't want to do that. So I put the new connector on. This one will get cut off once the antenna is installed, and then I'll slide it through the wall in the shack here. It's much easier to get that cable through without a connector. And then once that's done, then I'll prep it and put a connector on in the shack here. And I won't worry so much about heat shrinking the connector because then it's indoors. There's no chance of moisture or anything. But just to show you guys, we'll move to some other frequencies, and you can see here it's about channel 22 or more or less. So we're moving down. Everything's looking good. Of course, we're just measuring that dummy load, but what I'm checking for is, you know, obviously when I wiggle the cable end and stuff like that, you want to make sure that if you're seeing any shorts or anything, they would kind of show their ugly face. Also, I checked it with the continuity on the multimeter, and everything is good there as well. So I'm pretty confident this is good to go. I have never had one of these crimp connectors fail before, so you know, I've made some jumpers with them in the past. I just never really showed it or anything. They are really nice, so they make it much easier. You just solder the tip and then call it a day. And usually for me, I solder the tip before I crimp it on. That way I make sure that that's, like, this is fully seated back on the cable, and then there's this piece that slides up over top, and you want to make sure that this piece is fully back on the cable. Then you slide this on and crimp it over it, and that basically completes the connection. I find if you solder the tip first, that then you don't have any chance of like the connector like falling off or falling forward, and then you crimp it and it's not a good crimp because your connector is facing too far off the cable, if that makes sense to you guys. But anyways, that's it. So I think I did a good job. I got the current balun here. This would be like a ugly balun or a 1-to-1, whatever you want to call it. There's a little bit of weight to this. It's not super heavy, but you know, this may not be practical for all situations. They do make a standoff. DX Engineering makes a standoff that you can connect to this. Like if you were to use like all 40 in that kit, which I think would be crazy if somebody did, but hey, more power to them if that's what they want to do. I don't think I'll have to worry with the omnidirectional. The cable will kind of run up the mast pipe and be kind of strapped to it anyways, loosely, so that we don't damage the cable. And then this will come off, screw into the antenna right here. You know, at this point we'd screwed in, and then we're good to go. So this will be our feed point choke. So I think that'll help out with any sense of like common mode current coming back, bothering anything in the shack here, or maybe even any of the neighbors or stuff like that, because you just never know. When stuff radiates back on the cable, it can also radiate out and interfere with stuff along the path. So the more cable you got, the more chance of radiation coming back. And of course, not everybody's running the most linear style amplifiers and stuff in the CB hobby, so sometimes things like this can be a useful tactic to try to kick back on some of that common mode current crap that can come back and just wreak havoc on you, your equipment, and everything else. So not everybody will probably do it like this, but you know, I think this is the better way than just coiling up coax and stuff like that. Let me know what you think. 7-3.